AITA for this recurring favor-related situation. Excel, hello there. I've never posted here, but I need some insight, and this subreddit sounds like the right place to get it. The backstory? I was betrayed by my fiancé beyond repair, and as a result had to move back home temporarily. I was absolutely dreading it, because I did so during COVID too, and living with my parents was exhausting. I love them to death, and I want a good relationship with them, but living here has re-established in their minds an inconsiderate power dynamic that to them, I'm still their young child and they can boss me around how they like. We live in a very H-call area, all surrounding states, really, and I'm doing everything in my power to save up so I can afford my own place, but I'm beginning to doubt that can ever happen unless I find random roommates or until I find a partner. I'm extremely grateful that my parents are letting me stay here and that they understand that our economy isn't like it was when they were younger, so I try to show my gratitude in any way possible. I pay 1/3 of the rent. I constantly offer to help out financially in other ways. I do the grocery shopping, I do the dishes, I cook if needed. I run errands when I'm capable of doing so, and, above all, I stay out of their way and keep all my belongings confined to my bedroom or storage. That being said, I find that even in trying to meet them where I can, when I can, my parents can act extremely spoiled, particularly my mom, and they ask me favors that I don't find appropriate. My mom spends a majority of her days sitting on her phone, playing games or talking to friends, and watching television in her pajamas. She is physically able, in fact, her doctors have encouraged her to be more active, and honestly, she really does spend her days doing a whole lot of nothing, and then complaining about how hard her day was because she had to make customer service call or something. And yet, she constantly asks me to do very petty things for her that are things she's perfectly capable of doing. For example, if I'm in the living room with her, then I permanently leave to go somewhere else in the house, and she knows I'm not headed back to the living room. She rarely skips a beat to ask me to bring her dessert. Even if I explain I'm not coming back beforehand, she still expects a yes. Sometimes, I'll be sitting there after a long day trying to decompress, and she'll still ask me, as if she's not equally as far from the fridge. It's one thing if I get up and ask the room if anyone would like anything, but I feel like she takes advantage of favors to compensate for her own laziness, or expects her family to serve her for some reason. Another example. I'll be working during the week and she's fully aware I am, but will still ask if I will go return a dress she bought for her when she's got nothing going on, could definitely do it herself, and isn't otherwise preoccupied. For instance, when I'm out running the errand. She'd be watching TV. Sometimes she won't stop, and she just takes every opportunity to ask favors. She switches on this very sweet voice, too, so I always know when it's coming and usually starts a sentence with, "Will you be a nice person?" and as though I'm a bad person if I don't. The problem is, whenever I get fed up and start to set boundaries and say no, or even maybe later, or whenever she can read my body language that I'm slightly annoyed, she instantly yells at me. Not just, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Literal yelling, like how dare I. I get an immediate reaction like I'm the rudest, most selfish, most uncaring person in the world if I don't do it. And then she reminds me of all the favors she's done for me as justification for why I should do it without hesitation. Which is completely unfair, because she'll do me favors I don't ask her to do and in fact wish she wouldn't, like laundry, and then weaponizes them against me, as though she's keeping some sort of favor scorecard. Sometimes she'll be mad at me the day for this, and intentionally avoid me to let me know in her eyes I've effed up. To boot, the reverse is an absolute no-no. I know if I ever dreamed of asking either of my parents for lazy favors like that, they would immediately shut me down, and my mom would be appalled and laugh in my face in a patronizing tone that I'm a big girl and am capable of doing it myself. It would be entirely out of the question, but they can't see the hypocrisy. If someone needs me to run to the drugstore, help lift something, I know the important ways to help. And I don't mind helping out, truly, but within reason, and I definitely feel get taken advantage of in this area. I think my mom has a very 1950s attitude that children serve their parents, because that's what she grew up with. She expects be coddled, but I can't dare ask for help without bothering her. My dad still asks favors, but he also works very hard and we have a more equal exchange of effort, if you will, although sometimes it frustrates me that I'm the one to always do the doting. But honestly, I feel like even though I'm living here, I have done more than my fair share of helping out the last few years. Both my parents have had multiple surgeries over the last few years, including during COVID, and I was the only one of my siblings to step in and care for them even years after quarantine. Only to be told I wasn't doing enough, wasn't really doing that much, or sweet sentiments/s, like, well, your siblings are married and busy with their lives and you're not. And, what could you possibly have going on that's more important than taking care of your sick parents? Meanwhile, I have become so accustomed to my mom getting mad at me and asking for help, that I now expect that reaction. And I've grown into an adult who never asks anyone for favors, because I immediately expect they'll say no. Most people I've encountered would never dare help me out, through the good or the bad, which is a very difficult and isolating way to live. I know something like grabbing your parent a sandwich sounds petty, but what hurts me very, very deeply is my mom, and I have always had a strained relationship. She's usually quite harsh and standoffish with me, and I feel like she often only talks to me if she wants something from me that she doesn't want to do herself, purely because she just doesn't feel like it. I rarely get I love yous from her, let alone thank yous, so why would I want to go out of my way for someone who talks to me like that? And, let me clarify, I do often offer to do small favors like that, but the few times I don't, that's what gets noticed and criticized. More than anything, I hate that I'm being treated like this all because I'm single and this economy doesn't support independence. I'm dying for my own space, and it's not feasible right now. But I am a fully grown, mature, working adult and feel I deserve to be respected as one by my parents. But just because I'm not married, I'm not. ATM, I also work extensively long hours, sometimes 60 to 70 hours a week, to try and save up as much as possible, so it's not like I'm sitting on my behind eating bonbons and then complaining about helping out. Most days, I am exhausted by the end of work. And honestly, sometimes my days as a single adult are very heavy, carrying the burden all alone while everyone else has a spouse to lean on, and it would be nice to have a selfless act of service from a family member every now and then. But I would never be able to rely on anyone to do so, if my own mother gets pissed at me for asking. I'm so stressed and overwhelmed in my personal life right now, feeling like I've failed at every aspect of life because I have to live at home, and I hate knowing that saying no to one little favor can make me the enemy and make me feel like I can't even do right by my family. Despite the lengths I do go to try and win their favor, it really ruins my entire week, and sometimes I feel like I can't take being treated like a complete letdown one more time over such insignificant things. It's a game I cannot win. Despite all the good I do, one mistake and that's it. At the same time, I'm resentful. I want to be putting this level of care and energy into a life and home with a husband, and I want to be appreciated for the extreme effort I do contribute, rather than getting all the life sucked out of me by my ungrateful mother. I just feel like this is going to be the rest of my life, and I'm completely stuck. And instead of getting to be married and raising a family of my own, I'm trapped as the spinster Cinderella who had to stick around and take care of her parents because I didn't find love and should. Be so grateful they let me live here, that I have to do anything they demand, even if it's degrading. So, AITA for not just doing small favors like this. I feel so conflicted because I always feel like the a-hole no matter the situation. Am I a bad person? Am I being selfish, or is this something that entitled parents condition you to feel? Does the severe negative reaction match the crime? Is this normal treatment from parents? Am I overreacting? TLDR. I'm a working adult currently living with my parents and contribute and help out as much as I can. My parents, especially my mom, do me favors without my asking, but then expect petty favors in return that they are more than capable of doing, like getting themselves dessert and running small leisure errands. I pitch in a lot and do many favors, and I've tried to set acceptable boundaries. But every time I do, the immediate reaction is yelling and scoffing like I'm the worst person in the world, especially from my mom. AITA for refusing to bring my parents snacks and desserts. And should I feel any truth in their yelling at me? Or are they being lazy/taking advantage of me as a spinster daughter because they allow me to live here on a decent rent? Is this normal parental behavior at any stage of their children's lives? Am I overreacting?